it's Nana Plays Games, aka NPG. So I decided to take an itty-bitty break from Sonic videos and talk about a game that was a staple in my childhood when I played any chance I got. New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. This game was the beginning of the New Super Mario Bros. Games, and whether you see that as a good or bad thing is up to you. This title was a hand-me-down for my sister, and as a kid I couldn't get enough of all the things it had to offer. As an adult, I could see that it had many charming qualities and tons of creativity shoved in. Even so, it's not perfect, and I want to discuss why this hot mess of a game means so much to me despite its flaws. So, let's get started. Like any other 2D Mario game, the controls are quite simple and easy for anyone to pick up. Running and jumping is really all you need to know how to do to make it through the game, though there are some new abilities to make the game more unique, or more contrived, whatever you like. There's the mini mushroom, the turtle shell, which is my personal favorite, and the mega mushroom that only gets used like once or twice in the entire game. One thing I don't like about these power-ups is that there's usually no need for them. The mini mushroom can definitely help you access different areas of a level, but the other power-ups feel like they're just kinda there. These power-ups are more likely to be found in the mushroom houses than in actual levels, which is a bit sad. Either way, I like that a new type of Mario game receives new power-ups, even if they're not utilized as well as they could be. While on the topic of new, that word isn't in the game's name for nothing. There are so many new things that the game shoves in that it's not even funny. New enemies that are only usually around for a single level, new gimmicks, and new or rehashed bosses. The game really tries to be a new experience, possibly for older fans of the Mustache Plumber, but sometimes it falls flat. I like the new concepts, love them even, but looking at it from a critical lens, I can easily see that they're not implemented well into the game. Like I said before, new enemies are only used once or twice before they get thrown away never to be seen again. The new gimmicks, however, actually feel quite fun to play around with, as they're all over the game and plentiful. The more fun ones are, of course, discarded after a single time use, but it's just good to see some creativity in a new Super Mario Bros. Title. We all know that there was a massive shortage of that in the coming titles. Also, the game is painfully easy, which makes sense since it's for kids, but even older games have more of a difficulty streak going on. It's not like I want kids to cry. Unless... But yeah, this game feels way too forgiving a lot of the time, though it can surprise you sometimes. I always love how the game plays, even if I can find some faults with how it does. Now let's move on to the levels. The game may have new in the title, but old habits die hard, I guess. It definitely falls victim to the generic world combo. Grass, desert, water, jungle, ice, cloud for a 2D game, that's just a given. I do like that you can see certain types of hazards in different types of levels, like water being in World 8. Speaking of World 8, it may be the only unique level in the entire game. It's like your typical lava level, but instead something much darker and grungier. It feels more like a graveyard, which I loved as a kid and love even more now. What I didn't find out until much later in my childhood was how to access Worlds 4 and 7, which are impossible to get to through normal means. Seriously, how was 7-year-old me supposed to know to defeat the second world's boss with a mini mushroom? I mean, my mom was still giving me bubble baths so I wouldn't be late for an episode of Pokemon. Wow, I had to dig far back for that memory. I do think that having to use your brain to unlock important parts of the game is clever. Sneaky and annoying, but clever. Now to talk about the actual levels. Basically, every 2D Mario game has secrets for you to find, branching paths and all that. This game is no exception, and the new power-ups can help each level feel different to play. The mini mushroom can help you rush on water, the turtle shell can help you swim quicker, and the mega mushroom is just kinda there, though it can be used to destroy pipes and blocks in your way. Though I like boosting through levels as fast as I can appreciate taking my time while playing New Super Mario Bros. So I can find star coins. Some of them are pitifully easy to find, but others take a little bit more effort, which I like. All this effort usually goes into getting items in item houses or buying borders for your bottom screen UI. This is an addition I found to be super charming, and for a maximalist like me, you know I had to go for them. Anyway, the levels are pretty easy to breeze through, and I really enjoy the hazards some of them provide. Bottomless pits, rivers of lava, poisonous soda, all things seen before that I'm not tired of. There are some things that irk me about some levels, such as the gimmicks. I don't think I can make it more clear if I tried, but I hate side-scrolling levels, and I feel like there's at least one per world in this game. Like I said before, the levels are easy, so the game gives you much more time than necessary to get through obstacles, and it can be quite awkward a lot of the time. Moving on, and I know this is gonna sound really weird, but I kinda miss the boo houses being super puzzly and annoying like they were in Super Mario World. Makes me kinda wonder why they're even here for real. I feel that kinda way with certain things that happen in some levels, like rising tides or being shot out of a million pipes. But like I said, anything new or unique in this game isn't disliked by me at all, even if the levels are a little funky. So let's talk about the bosses next. The bosses in this game are pretty unique, but I do have some gripes about them. The bosses aren't anything special, and again, I know it's a kids game, but would I have killed them to make the bosses a little tougher? Let's just get something else out of the way. The Bowser Jr. mini boss fights are like the most repetitive thing in the world. It makes it even worse since you have to fight him once or even twice per world. For a good while, there's no difference between his boss fights, and they're usually over in 2 seconds even without a power-up. In World 6, he does start to spice up his battles a little more, making it so you actually have to outmaneuver him, but it's still pathetically easy. Yawn. I can safely say that fighting the Koopalings at least keeps things unique and light. The big castle bosses may not be much better, but they're at least unique in presentation and attacks. They're also over in 2 seconds, but usually their size or setup makes them a lot more different from one another. There are cool concepts added in these bosses that make me wish they'd been fully fleshed out, though I love them anyway. The only boss that still catches my eye is the very final one, a standoff against Bowser and Bowser Jr. I always found it kind of anticlimactic how you just defeat Bowser at the very beginning of the game and that's kind of it. Either way, the final boss is a perfect send-off to the game. It's tense, dire, and as a kid, it makes you feel like this is it. The castle leading up to the boss was enough of a challenge for 7-year-old me, so it only made the boss feel that much more serious. Even if most of the bosses were easy peasy and kinda awkward, I thought it was nice for the game to show off new bosses, some being rehashed. Sure beats going through Bowser Jr. a million times. So let's move on to the extra content. The main campaign wasn't the only thing that drove me to love this game as a kid. There are 2 things to look forward to, the minigames and the local versus mode. I'm really glad this game had bonus content for if you're getting tired and need something new or if you've already finished the game. Cause when I tell you I couldn't get enough of these minigames, I mean that shit. You don't understand how much time I spent playing them. I wouldn't be surprised if I played them more than the actual campaign. Some minigames stumped me as a kid, and it's embarrassing to say I still don't really understand them. The others in the roster were ones I could play forever, only needing to stop if I ever got bored. Maybe the minigames are ripped straight from the Super Mario 64 on DS, but does that really matter? They're fun, there's a lot to choose from, and Nintendo even teaches kids how to gamble. How wholesome. I didn't get to play the versus mode too much as a kid because, well, I didn't have many friends, but it's mindless fun. All of it is just meant to keep you occupied, kind of like a mobile game. Speaking of, I kill to have these games on my phone somehow. I play them while trying not to fall asleep during my lectures all the time. You get the gist. Minigames equals a boatload of fun you don't have to think about unless you're gambling. So let's wrap it up. New Super Mario Bros. On DS is a very unique title for many reasons. Unlike its 2D predecessors, it doesn't follow strict rules and kinda seems to do whatever it wants. Also, unlike its successors, it still manages to somehow maintain a balance of creativity and zaniness that I think fits Mario very well. May not be the best Mario game ever created, but it's near and dear to my heart and I'll always love it to death. Call me biased, but that's my opinion. Was this just an excuse for me to finally talk about Mario and gush over one of my favorite childhood games? Maybe. Even though I'm glad Nintendo decided to go in a completely different direction by dropping the new Super Mario Bros. IP, I'm happy with what we got out of its first game in the lineup. Games don't have to be overly complex or difficult to be fun, and though this game was a bit wonky, it's still one hell of a time. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Also, I promise longer videos are coming in the future. I'd hate to just pad out my script just to meet a word count. This isn't school or something. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe. NPG over and out.